Well, hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Derp Your Hooves. Today we are in the H-Jet, also known in the real world as the Honda Jet, for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So let's jump in and take a look. So here we are inside the cockpit of the H-Jet, and it's quite nicely set up and quite well designed. So, and apparently this is how it looks in real life. So I just turned off the nose wheel steering so that we don't have to fight with that as we go down the runway. And in here, you can select your weight and how many passengers, how much luggage you want. So we're just going to select 2 passengers, and we're going to keep the weight the same. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do some self-checks. Make sure that all of our systems check out before we take off. And the yolks are going to shake. And so it's going to go through a whole self-test. And we're going to let it go through that, and then we're going to actually enter the weights after this. Now the great thing about this setup is that you can actually, and you'll see right up here that once we do this, it's a 3-part kind of check before you take off to set it up, to do a basic setup. And then, we're there, so we hit the back button, and now we have to do weights and speed bugs. And you can actually, if you want, after you've already set the weight and the amount of passengers, you can just let the sim go ahead and punch the numbers in, so you don't have to go flip back and forth and remember it. And it makes the whole process go by much faster. So it's kind of a perk. And so then we can just set up the speed bugs like we just did, and we let the sim do it. All 3 boxes are checked, so that's done. Now, we already also entered in our flight plan in the sim before with the GPS setup, so we're just going to check it and make sure it's still here. And there we go, Santa Barbara to Van Nuys. So we know that that's good. And we're just going to kind of go through here, and I want to get to the lights because there's a setting for the lights. For the exterior lights, it says norm, and I don't know what that means. I mean, I just started using this jet. This is like my 3rd flight on it, and so I'm going to turn things on and off, and I'll find out what norm means later. But I just want some basic takeoff lights, the landing lights for takeoff, and some position lights and a strobe because we're on the runway, and you can kind of see on your display here, on your Garmin display. I mean, you have all the information that you need. You have your navigation finder, your compass, you have your orientation. I mean, so it's all right here, just like it is in the what is it? The longitude has kind of a similar setup. And on the left of it, you can actually display different systems. And right now we have the electrical system up. And I'd rather actually just prefer seeing the normal, aircraft status setup. I mean, I don't really need to, see what's going on. It is a sim, but it's nice so you can do all that extra stuff and put up whatever you want. And like right now, I just put up nothing. You can have nothing if you want. And that's pretty much what I did. So it wouldn't have that information if I scan back to the left and I look. And it'll also put the checklists up if you want to go through the pre-flight checklists. But I've already done the pre-flight checklists. So, now we have the climate system up, and that's like the fuel system. And now we have nothing. That's also fine. But I'd like to just have the aircraft status, so we're going to go ahead and... There we go, there's the aircraft status, so I'm happy with that. And then, I plan to use the autopilot, so I'm going to just, dial in my altitude manually and dial in my speed manually. And the flaps work. You see, they were already set to take off, and everything else works. We just released the parking brake a little prematurely. But we're going to go ahead here, and we're just going to, set our cruise speed when I do hit the autopilot. And then our altitude, our max altitude for our flight. And it really is just kind of a hop over some mountains. It's a really, really short flight, so we don't really need to be going like 30,000 feet. I mean, we don't even really need to be doing 20,000 feet, because we're literally just, taking maybe a 20-minute flight between the two. So, that'll do for right now. And I think we're ready to get underway.
Santa Barbara Tower Delta Echo Romeo Papa Yankee frequency change. Cleared to land runway 7 generic 2 Bravo Romeo.
So, I really like this Garmin G3000 display, and I really should turn off the air traffic controller, so we're just going to talk over them, because I wanted to use them on the flight, so I'll just talk right over them, because they're going to talk throughout the entire video, and chit-chat with the traffic. So, again, the Garmin 3000 display, your Garmin 3000 with your setup is really great. And this plane will, you can just set it up just like any of the other business jets. The autopilot works, the speed control works. I mean, just like the longitude, everything works in this. You can set it up for approach. We're not going to be doing our landing on approach. I'm going to do it manually. I just don't like the way the planes fly themselves in on approach. And this is a brand new aircraft, so, it may have some issues because it's literally like, today is the day that it just came out. So we'll see what kind of bugs it may have. But for the most part, it flies beautifully for a little jet. It has a range, I think, of about a little over 1,200 nautical miles. And now, See, it does have a cruise speed of about 422 knots, true airspeed. Um, so, I mean, it will, get up and it does move. Um, but the one thing that I have noticed, and you have to be careful with this plane, um, is unlike the other business jets, and it's kind of, I guess the only downside of it right now is that the minute you start overspeeding, you have to back off immediately because there's not much of a grace period between the overspeed and the structural failure. Um, so you really want to keep it under. I've been keeping it at about. I don't know. I've been trying not to go too faster than 250 on a takeoff, and then gently, pushing it up a little further, and I'd say keeping it about 10 knots under the danger zone, the max speed. Just because literally, I mean, you're there and you have like 3 seconds. So that's the only real negative that I can find on this brand new plane. I also wanted to say before I go on any more with this review, that again, I'm not endorsed by anybody whatsoever to do this review. I'm not getting paid for it. No one's telling me what to say. This is just how I feel, and I'm not a professional pilot. I'm a flight sim pilot. But I think this plane was actually pretty well done. Especially considering, I read it was, done by one guy. I mean, there wasn't a team on this, so wow. I mean, that's a whole lot of work for one person to be doing, so they did an amazing job, on this plane. And I mean, once you get it set up and you get everything going and you hit autopilot, I mean, you can sit back and chill. You don't even really have to worry about anything malfunctioning. It really is a very easy plane to fly. So again, not only is the cockpit really well put together and quite frankly beautiful, but the outside of this Honda Jet itself is also just really beautiful. So, unlike the Longitude, but a lot like the CJ4, um, this plane comes with a actual cabin. Now, I don't see any passengers in here, and I don't know if there's an option to enable or disable them, but we're supposed to have passengers, so I don't see them. But again, just, from the wing view, and we're going to go ahead and take a look around the inside of the cabin. I mean, again, it's also just really nice and well done inside the cabin, also. Again, I said this was going to be a really short flight, so we're here pretty much at Van Nuys
Van
Airport,
Nuys Tower
and we're
Delta
just going to
Echo
start
Romeo
beginning our
Papa
descent
Yankee,
and
210
land.
miles west 14,500 feet with Mike to land.
Delta Echo Romeo Papa Yankee Van Nuys Tower. Altimeter 29er.79er wind 139er at 7. Make left downwind runway tree 4 left.
Enter left traffic runway, tree 4 left, Papa Yankee.
Landing gear.
Yankee wind 131 at 7. Clear to land runway tree 4 left.
Clear to land runway tree for left Papa Yankee. 121.7 Papa Yankee.
So again, this is really a great plane, and I just wanted to go ahead and show you the external landing. Um, so we're going to taxi on in, and then we're going to, drop the stairs and let everybody out. And I'm just going to show you some of the outside features, some of the static elements you get. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. So I just wanted to say, thanks for watching Derp Your Hooves. And if you guys haven't done so already, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. Always happy to have you guys on board as subscribers. And if you do subscribe too, you can always click that bell in the upper right hand corner, of my main page, and you'll be informed whenever I release a new video. Alright guys, thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the skies.